here this weekend, a hands-on workshop with students who are making upholstered headboards like these, headboard samples. Yeah, so it was a workshop weekend, and it was a wonderful, you're a wonderful instructor, so patient, and gave everybody the full step-by-step for making several different types of headboards. It was fun for me to watch, and I learned a few things. There was one technique that I want to share, make sure everybody knows about, which is how you created this button tufted book. And so I wanted to just kind of talk through it with you and document it.
Okay.
So different types of headboard construction, but most of them have at least one good layer of plywood or what is this? OSB board. Okay. Which is that wonderful, inexpensive
7/16.
7/16. Okay, so and both of these headboards have just a single layer of that, a layer of 1-inch foam,
Yes.
and then also batting. And then you demonstrated wonderful techniques for all the detail. The button detail I thought was fascinating because instead of tied through covered buttons, like an upholsterer would be typically doing, that involves drilling and tying through and some
Pulling
sort of
through the
pulling
back.
through the back. Right? You shared a very simple method that I understand you can use if you're using only 1-inch foam and batting, nothing more than 1 inch.
Nothing more than that.
Right, nothing more. So this is the thickest you would
Yeah, the thickest that you would want to try to.
for this method. Okay. And I think also you recommended making sure the fabric had some give to it because here you're taking, a smooth surface and pushing down. And if your fabric didn't have any flexibility, you're really just tightening up and
you won't have the
good dimples.
dimples in it.
Yes, yeah, so both these fabrics are good flexibility. Okay, so anytime you're working with 7/16 plywood, OSB board, 1-inch foam and batting,
Yes.
nothing more thickness than that. You can use this quick, easy method, which is simply stapling through, down, and catching the cord.
Well, we call it cord, but this is actually the upholstery.
Button twist. Yes, oh, okay, sure.
Button
So,
twist.
and yeah, that's what we have. So we use this with all sorts of things related to upholstery. And certainly if you were going to do tie-through covered buttons on a box cushion, this is the type.
Yeah.
Right. And why this thread?
Because it'll stay knotted where the other, if you use a cord or, it tends to want to unknot.
But this has a waxy coating
That
when
grab real tight.
that grabs real tight. So when you tie knots in it and it heats up, it actually is melting that wax a little bit and resealing. So you're almost getting a glued knot when you use this
Exactly.
Yeah. Versus if you're using lift cord,
Yes.
which is designed not to tangle a knot, right? And so that resists a knot. And so that's why it's important too when you're doing this to have button twist and not use shade cord. So you get that.
Or
extra-
don't try to use your heavier cords like your threads that you might pass a few times in their thickness too. Because when you turn your button, and as we go further, we'll see that. As you tighten up your button, you can cut that thread on the bottom.
Oh,
by twisting
right, twist, right, this is a really strong thread. So I'm assuming this has nylon and it's got a waxy coating and it's very heavy. Excellent, it's called button twist. Okay, so the technique is, I assume we'll mark placement of the buttons
Mark
first.
placement of your buttons.
How about, let's just add 3 buttons to this
That would
one.
be good.
So that-
Let's just do 3 buttons.
Okay, we'll get you some pins, cloth tape measure.
That would be
Is that what you'd like to find the placement? Okay, there's a quick speed method for finding the center after the fact. You just, a reference point, don't do any math, right? Instead of taking, just mark your thumb with the other end, fold in half. And there's your center. And if you're at all needing to double check, then you hold your thumb there and double check. There you go.
Good.
So we've got the center one, and then I'm one to just eyeball.
Oh, okay.
Right? Oftentimes too, you keep your buttons in a headboard near the top, depending on where the mattress covers.
Exactly.
Right, so keeping mindful of that. So I think I kind of like that. I like this placement. Yeah. And so let's find the placement here. Yeah, pretty good eyeball.
Pretty good.
And then let's go up from the bottom and make sure we're about the same. A little bit more than 7. Yeah. My eyeball's off about 1/8 of an inch.
Oh, wow.
Okay, do you like that?
I like that.
Okay. And
Okay, we want to talk about your staples. I would suggest using a 9/16 at least staple. So we have to go through that batting and through that foam and down into that plywood. So you're going to need the depth of a longer staple.
okay, so 9/16 safety glasses.
Absolutely.
And just to understand what we're doing, we're going all the way through. We could just recut that, right?
Yes, I just picked up some string.
We're going all the way through and doing a cross, right? In the past, when I've done this, sometimes I'll do 2, go to each other in that direction, and before I do the cross. Yeah. What do? You just
I just
cross your threads?
Just cross your threads and then go back. I like to go with my staples going in this direction. I'm going to want to go in the opposite direction to do another.
With your threads crossed, so it's like a T.
Like a T.
Okay, so, it really doesn't matter how many you do in there.
No.
But you don't want to keep pounding at it
Because
because
it's tear your fabric, face fabric too.
the other suggestion I have, if you have a face fabric that is
Very delicate.
very delicate or shredded, you can always just a little piece of cardboard over it, just so the staple's not grinding right on the.
And you want to make sure that you're not going like that. Cardboard has now protected this, but
So it won't shred it at
if you
least.
don't go across with that staple, then it's not going to shred.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we got a cross there, and a cross again. It's really
Nice
secure.
and always check to make sure it's secure before you move on to the other one.
Okay, so let's set that aside. Do you mind if I do it? Because I was
No,
having fun
absolutely.
watching you yesterday. I didn't get my chance yesterday.
No, you didn't.
You know what, I think I'm going to,
Go ahead and use that.
yeah, I don't know if we need to, this fabric's pretty stable, but you leave the pin in,
No, I think that.
take the pin out.
Once I place it, here, once I place it.
And right here,
They're doing that. So they're going all the way down.
didn't catch it. Let's try that again. Oh, you know what? No staple came out.
Well, that doesn't, no.
I'm gonna have a little trouble with this gun. Probably because it needs to be oiled. And I've been very lax with the maintenance on the guns. It's no staple.
You want to check your manual to see where you need to oil your gun. In this particular gun, the oil needs to be placed in the back where the compressor hose is put. Just put a couple of drops in there.
How often do you do this, Kathy?
Every time I use my gun and put it up, I go ahead and put 1 drop of oil in there before.
And then you seal it and store
And
it.
make sure you put your plunger back on here.
So, yeah, it does it. So then when it's resting and you're storing it, it's
doing
got
its
the
job.
oil, yeah. Okay, great, and it's ready to use when you bring it back up. Okay, I think I need to start that habit.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see if, that little bit
It's
of
gonna
oil is
help.
gonna help us here. I assume we just thread one through.
Run it in your string business. Bottom of the button.
Okay, we'll do. Press down.
That's important. Press and get that really nice and tight.
Want to be my third hand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then cross to this side. Let's hold it. Do a knot, and then come to this side. And I usually do that just back and forth, and then two on the same side,
Two on
so
the
that the
same.
wax, the final
It's gonna get.
yeah, so the
Yeah.
wax can really seal there.
You want to make sure, as Jeanelle did, that you don't stop here, back here when you're not,
Oh.
you go all the way up into that,
The prong or
the
the
prong,
hook on the
because if not, it'll loosen.
right, okay.
That's nice and tight.
Nice and tight, and
Yeah.
got blisters.
Yes.
And then I saw you just clip,
Right, don't,
just right at the edge there.
yeah, don't try to lift the button and cut underneath it, cut it right at that
Right at
edge.
the edge.
Because you want to be able, and then you can pass, you have nails, you can pass that back up
Something.
underneath there, or
Yeah, I don't have nails, I
but
can
you
do
can
that.
get that
Very
back
good.
underneath there. That way, that's not gonna have the tendency to want to undo either.
And I also saw you twist. Now I can get that, the grain of the fabric up right,
Exactly.
but I also can get a little closer if I twist.
Right.
Oh, and I love how it will still stay.
Yeah, it actually, it tightens it. You just have
Right.
to be concerned, this thread though is heavy. And that's what we were talking about earlier, using a thinner
Right,
thread.
you twist, you
You
just break
twist it, it breaks
pop
right off. But this gives you the
Right.
option of being able to tighten. Or if you're putting on a button that has a print inside and you have a little flower or something you want to have all going in the same direction, you
Right.
put it on, turn it, and you can set it to that direction.
And I guess worst case, let's say the integrity of the plywood doesn't hold a staple or something like that and it pops off. Well, at that point, you could actually drill and do a tie through. It's not, you know,
Well, it's
that's
not.
like worst case,
Right.
but you've never had any
I never had any
pop off,
pop off.
right? Yeah, I think as long as we don't use thicker foam,
Thicker foam.
because there's too much pressure. Okay, let me finish. I love
Okay.
these. Love this. Okay, thread it through. Cross over. Press down. Nice. And then cross over on this side.
You can feel that in there.
Yeah, and then I'll do two on this for the final knot. Boy, you could really move on these. Oh, I love that. Okay, and the final one. We'll go close up. This is Liz, by the way. Say hi, Liz. This is usually behind the camera.
Let me go this way.
Okay, that one's staple. Two. Ah, so pretty. Okay. Voila! Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Headboards. Oh, you can do this on cornices.
You
Anything.
can do it on cornices as well.
Yeah, and it would work just as well if you only had batting, right?
Oh, yes, it'll
Yeah.
definitely. The only thing about using with just the batting, to get the indentions and to get the poofiness here, you would probably want to do 2 layers.
Got it. If
Of
you were
like an
doing
8
just
ounce, if you were doing just the
batting.
batting on a cornice, yes.
Got it.
I wouldn't get the loft you're gonna get.
But the firmness of the foam really pushes
Pushes it.
it pushes the
Pushes that
the fabric around it back out.
It gives it that tufted look.
Great. Thanks so much. Great epi chair.
Thank you.